Hey, I'm doing one of my night vlogs, and it is 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So excuse the noises in the background. There is a man across the road mowing the lawn. The animals are all wide awake. There are children playing outside. Recently, I feel that when I have thoughts, that I am eager to record them. I feel like I'm developing an understanding of what happiness is. I use the word developing because it's a process. It's not like eating a piece of cheesecake. You don't get to a point where the cheesecake is eaten and you are comfortably sitting back, full, satisfied, with a smile on your face. The goal of, or the pursuit rather, of finding happiness is ongoing. An ongoing journey. At different stages of our life, the colours which we associate with happiness vary. So perhaps in our 20s we see yellow as happiness, and then in our 30s it's green, and 40s it suddenly becomes a vibrant purple. So inherently there is no clear definition. There are so many factors in interplay. Our ability to be in the present, our ability to quieten our mind, our ability to put thoughts aside, and of course genetics. But lately I find myself in real contemplation of happiness. So let's do a little meditation, a vlog about my understanding of the pursuit of happiness. Sit down or lie down comfortably, and we'll begin. Eckhart Tolle says that the best way to think is to be the observer of the thought. So rather than being in the thought, consumed by the thought, playing with the thought, it is about looking down upon the thought with some objectivity. And take a moment to find some space in between my words. I'll pause for a moment during this time. Breathe without thought. Okay. And let's just be grateful for that moment of peace, that moment of without thought, and focus on being grateful for this time right now. In my readings, I read that men are overall less happy than women. I also read that men are most likely to be unhappy at age 45, and that many of us have some sort of crisis or possibly feel lost or depressed in our 40s. And I also read that people who have won the lottery are generally unhappier 6 months after they win the lottery than a day before they won the lottery. Take a moment now to enjoy some space without words. Breathe. I find the space between words such a euphoric experience for me. The more time I devote to feeling space without words, without thought, the more I feel closer to consistent happiness. I've been inspired to present this vlog because one of my childhood friends turns 50 today, and her son took some effort to find me. And there is a party this evening which I have been invited to. I'm somewhat scared, perhaps, to attend. I feel like it's having a video that not only has the visual, but somehow contains the feelings of going back to that time, those early years when I knew her. I've known her since almost birth. I went to school with her. I went to university with her. We knew each other through having children. And now she turns 50 this year. Or she turns 50 today and I turn 50 this year. And I feel fear in seeing her and my other friends like a explosive contrast. Here is the past, and this is what you've done with it, Lauren. Okay, take another moment now of silence. I love the silence. Studies indicate that we place expectations upon ourselves to achieve big events. Events such as an amazing marriage, buying property, buying stuff, possibly having children, achieving benchmarks in work, promotions. We follow these goals when we're young with passion, gusto, some bravado. We're so fast as young people. Somehow we just believe that happiness eludes us and it's just around the corner, and if we run just fast enough and don't stop, don't look left and right, don't look down, just around the corner, voila, there we go, we've got there. Happiness. We think that if we really work hard, train hard, love hard, that's the way it's supposed to be. That's the right way. We have stereotypical ideas of happiness. We are such a spilt milk culture. We lose something and we cry over spilt milk and we're so sad. Oh, we've lost our happiness. Or we focus on the next corner. It's just around the next corner. I kind of think of that cartoon, you know, they have the donkey and the farmer ties a carrot to his head. So he's trotting along, trying to reach the carrot at the end of the stick. But of course, the irony is, with all his enthusiasm, he'll never get there, because his definition of the carrot is, metaphorically, it's on the end of a stick, and you have to take the stick away. And if you take the stick away, you have the present moment. That's all you have. No big events, no terrible tragedies, spilled milk. Just breathe, more silence. I agree with a lot of the studies. I think that stereotypically we are such a happily ever after culture. We have such pigeonholes that we think within those pigeonholes are very neatly packed definitions of what happiness is. That they're clearly labelled and wrapped carefully so that we can hold them in our hands and know this is happiness, I have it here. The reality is so different to that, and the reality is scary, because the reality is that happiness is in the simplicity of now. Happiness is in community, spirituality, family, and some sense of contribution, whether it's charity or work. That's all it is. Nothing else. Nothing else. No big happily ever after. I often talk about Prince Charming. There is no Prince Charming. There is no Prince Charming. Okay, another gift of silence for you. Sometimes I romantically miss things in my past, and I take the romantic missing and I hold it to my chest like a mother holds a child, And I cradle the romantic missing, and I cuddle it and nurture it and feed it. So my romantic missing grows and grows and grows. I was going to do a law degree at Monash University, and I chose to do anthropology. I regret that. I miss so much my farm where I used to live with my husband and my children, my wellness centre. I miss the local restaurant called Ciao Bella. I miss the food, the desserts. I think about them. I waste energy and time thinking about the desserts. I used to have a nickname at the local restaurant. They called me the dessert lady because I would eat well all week and then I would eat 2 desserts. And I would look forward to those 2 desserts and spend some time choosing them. And then that time was gone. I could analyse why that time's gone. I could fester in grief, or I could accept that life changes. For every moment I fester in remorse, regret, resentment and grief, I lose pieces of now. And when I lose pieces of now, I lose pieces of the future. Because now is not just about the present. Now gives me energy to plan for my future. So one tear in my past cost me several steps up my mountain of my future. I'm sitting in my indoor robe because it's the only relatively quiet place in my house. Take a moment now of silence, a gift, and breathe. When I throw myself into cradling the past, this preoccupation distracts me from the present and my happiness now. And while I do that, life just ticks past. Tick, 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 tick. You know, when we were children, we used to play that game. What's the time, Mr. Wolf? Dinner time. And then the wolf would chase us, and we were always somehow surprised when he said dinner time, like we didn't expect it. That's what life is like. We focus on the past, and then, like a sneaky wolf, time sneaks behind us while we're holding the baby of our past. And we lift our head and we go, oh, I'm older. The present has eluded me. But the present hasn't eluded you or I. We have simply chosen not to be there. We've simply chosen to cradle the past. And by choosing to cradle the past, we just don't live. I feel that the root of our unhappiness is a misplaced understanding in what happiness actually is. And every time we turn our head to the past, we lose precious moments. Precious moments. I've read to you today parts out of a letter I wrote a friend. I think I'll go this evening to the 50th, but I'm not sure. With all my meditation, it's hard for me to go. The dreams this girl and I had, our reality is so different. And I know that our reality is so much more real than our dreams. But to be in the reality is so confronting. As you listen to me, let your body go. And breathe. We think so much about the way to be happy. We read Eckhart Tolle and we read so many of the philosophers, and yet our minds are still clogged with nostalgia, thought, and distraction. I know very clearly now that life has to change in my experience. Not just for me, but for my children. I cannot continue to look back. Not for one more millisecond. Not for one more millisecond. What about you? What are you going to do? Are you going to cry over spilled milk? Are you going to regret the decisions of your past? Are you going to fester over how you could have been a different person in your last relationship? Are you going to berate yourself for the way that you hold on to anger? Or are you going to stop and start being in the present, right now? No more time to explore, to think. It starts now. Embrace the fear. Embrace the fear. Breathe now. Just breathe. Breathe. As you know, in the next few weeks I'm going away on a journey. Inherently to find myself so that I can be in the now. And the main motivator for this is that the person I am is the person that my children will become. The cycle must stop. Breathe now. Breathe now. Breathe now. Breathe now. Breathe now, and as you breathe, that glorious, glorious, glorious breath, be with each breath as it inhales in through your nose was so